lot up to? You better not been down to my camp. Ooh, look at the bull there. Ooh. What do you lot want? You better not been down my camp scavenging for water. G'day guys, Old Fellas Travels, Mike. So I've been up in the, well, I'm currently up in Leonora, 50k or so out of Leonora, up at an area called the Terraces, and doing a bit of prospecting, and it's been going okay. I've been here, camped remotely about a week, I suppose, 10 days actually, I think maybe, and completely remote. I have no phone reception, no facilities bar what I brought with me, but there's been a couple of us up here on a 40E that we put in, and it's been going reasonably well. But the purpose of this video is I had, out of the questions that have come in, I'll ask the other question, answer the questions in another video. There's a question about the detector I use, and I thought it's probably worthwhile doing a mini session to explain that, rather than just tell you that I'm using a SDC 2300 Mine Lab, because it's actually a little bit more than that. So I'll talk a little bit about the gear that I use, the setup that I have, and to give you a better idea of what I'm using. And it's relatively successful, although next year when I go at it full time, I will be purchasing a 7000. But regardless, there's nothing inherently wrong with the SDC 2300. So let's go through a bit of a rundown. So I'm using the just be aware guys, really windy here, and so I'm just using one of my GoPros to capture the sound. So I'm using the 2300. It's I like it. It's a good detector, Mine Lab. I've got the 7000 swing arm, which is normally, I think, comes with the 7000, but I've just it fits. It's just it fits with a bit of mucking around, and it's much nicer to have a swing arm. So with that, I found that the coil that makes this the 2300 a very compact machine, so compact actually that you could fold it up and just drop it into a backpack if you need to go somewhere. But I found that I just couldn't cover enough ground with the coil. I think it's only like a 7-inch coil, the little coil that comes with them. But if you're into detecting where you may have to walk some distance, and you may not have to cover a lot of ground when you're detecting, the 2300 is an ideal machine because it folds up in such a compact size. But I've got the Coiltech 11-inch Gold Extreme coil on this, and I'm really liking it. Allows me to cover a lot more ground. I don't know whether it's not quite as sensitive, I don't think, as the small coil that comes on these, but it's certainly sensitive enough. And I've found probably about 14 grams of gold with this over a period of maybe 4 days. So I do like that coil, and I'll continue to run with it. I also run the ProSonic remote speaker, which I find you really need, because my hearing's not so good, and this allows me to so the Mine Lab ProSonic allows me to be disconnected from the detector, so when you dig you haven't got cables and all hung up. So I run this to a pair of ZX Gold Pro headphones. These are relatively new. I've only had them for about 3 weeks, but they plug directly into the top of the MindLab Pro Sonic, and which allows you volume adjustment and such things as that. So I use the I think it's MindLab Pro Swing 45, I think it's called, and I do like this harness. It's framed so it gives you quite a bit of stability. I have a bit of a crook back, and the other harness I had just wasn't giving enough support. With again the MindLab Sonic Pro speaker on the front, which I plug the headphones into. Albeit I'm right-handed, I prefer the hip stick on the left-hand side because it just tends to feel a more balanced weight for me. And I will mention too that the other thing that I didn't mention is the with the Coiltech coil on, it tends to be a much better balanced machine. It's a little top heavy for my liking with the standard coil on, although that's not a problem. But I did notice that when I put the 11-inch Gold Extreme Coiltech coil on, that is made for the SDC 2300, I did find that it really is a much more balanced machine in my liking, the way my setup is. And the other thing to note is that once you do go to a larger coil, of course, it doesn't fold up into the compact unit anymore, like it did prior to putting the 11-inch coil on. So that's about it, guys. As far as setting goes, I generally run it on the maximum settings. I found that's the best. Once you tune your ear, it can be a bit noisy. I'm generally on threshold, the full threshold, and most often on either 4 or 5. I've been on 4 for the last couple of days because it's been pretty hot. Excuse me, it's been pretty hot here, up around the 40s, and so the ground has been a bit noisy at times. But on days like today, I'll be running on 5, you know, so I'll run max threshold and max on sensitivity, and that seems to work for me. I think it takes a little bit of time to get used to the constant noise, but I find after a while that you tend to tune that out, and I wouldn't think I was missing any signals, because the tone with that coil is a little bit different actually, compared to the standard coil that comes on it. But I think that's about it, team. I can't really knock the SDC 2300. We'll so when I was on a little bit of a patch over 4 days, you know, there's about 14 grams of gold there, I think. So it's going pretty well. I've got about another 10 days up around this area. So that's about it, I think. I tend to never go far from the vehicle now when I'm away from camp, for safety reasons really. And if there's more than one of us, I always carry 2A. In fact, I always carry 2A, and I'll have it on scan if I'm on my own, just so if I know if someone else is about. And I carry my spot locator, so if I was injured or something went a bit pear-shaped and I couldn't get back to camp, I've got the spot locator, and of course the snake bite kit. I also carry GPS that I use purely and simply to mark where the vehicle is. It hasn't been so necessary here because the you know, the visual over distance is pretty good. You know, it's fairly flat ground, and you've got to be. I certainly wouldn't be walking far enough away to lose sight of the vehicle, because it's fairly flat ground. But in other locations where, you know, the bush is a bit heavier, or there's a bit of, you know, oopty-doos walking around the place, I'll mark the vehicle on the GPS, so, and then turn it off to save battery power. And I carry a set of spare batteries in the bum pack as well, so I'm pretty much guaranteed that I'll have power for the GPS. That's about it, team. I hope that's that was enough information on the gear I use and how I use it. And the other questions that came in on the the other questions that came in on the comments, I'll answer those in another video. It's been a while since I had a video up, purely and simply because I've been so remote, and I haven't, the last couple of weeks I haven't been able to get anywhere near reception. And but I'm just about out of food, just about out of water. Victuals are pretty low actually, and almost out of beer. So it's time to go back to civilization for a couple of days, rest up, maybe enjoy a bit of aircon for a change, and give Barnes a decent run over a couple of days, and then we'll head out again and in search of the elusive gold one more time. Cheers guys, stay safe, and be kind to each other, and if you're prospecting, I hope you find that patch in the gold you're always looking for. Cheers guys.